So in our current implementation, we have stored the API key in our source code. There is a problem with this. If we add this code to a version control system like Git and publish it to GitHub, this API key is visible to anyone who has access to that GitHub repository. And that means they can create an application, a malicious application, and use our API key to pretend to be us. That's not good. So if they violate any of the policies of Yelp, we'll be in trouble. So how to prevent this? Well, we need to extract this API key, put it in a separate file, and exclude that file from Git. Let me show you how to do that. So that's pretty easy. We add a new file here. Let's call that config.py. In this file, we'll have all kinds of configuration parameters for our application. So now back to app.py. I'm going to move line 4 into config.py. So cut, then move it here, save the changes. Now back to app.py. On the top, we import this config module. In this module, we have an attribute called API key, right? So we can access it using the dot operator. So this is where we are referencing the API key. We need to prefix that with config dot. That was the first step. Now, to exclude this file from Git, we need to come to our project, add a new file, and call it .gitignore. Here we can specify what files and directories should be excluded from our Git repository. So currently, that is config.py. Save the changes. So now when we push our code to a GitHub repository, our config file will not be there. So if you're working in a team, every developer needs to create this config file on their own machine. So it's the responsibility of the team lead who has access to the API key to give the API key to every developer in the team.